What yoga achieves for most of the people we speak to, I mean, we've had some profound results where people have come in and they've literally said, this has saved my life. Like they're on the brink of giving up, checking out. And after a few weeks of practice, their whole perspective has changed. So it's about sticking at it. What yoga achieves is creating a space between stimulus and response. So there's always external stimuli coming in, and our nervous system is on the lookout for danger. Yoga helps us to recognise perceived threats as being, I guess, false positives, where they're not threats, so that we're not reactive to that sensory input that's coming in. It might be the sound of a car backfiring, it might be a balloon popping. It could be something as simple as a facial expression on a loved one that can send us into that fight and flight where we feel threatened. And it might not be cognitive, we might not be thinking about it as that person's threatening me. It could be deeper, more instinctive. So without even recognising any thought process, there's a reaction that comes up. I've found with the consistent practice of yoga in myself and in students that come along is that they become less reactive. They're able to take a breath, take a step back and respond to whatever situation, whatever person is in front of them. And it's a tool for enabling conflict resolution. It's a tool for being able to practice non-violent communication. We've seen it just improve people's whole experience of life.
When I joined Frontline Yoga, I had zero experience with military or police. After this training, I'm so ready to bring more yoga, to do more things. I have a better understanding of that culture, but also a better understanding of what I can bring and how welcome that might be and how needed. I feel part of the family. I'm learning the language now. I'm teaching them yoga, they're teaching me army talk, which is good. It's giving me a better understanding of the audience that we're going to have, the students that we're going to have in our classes, and why Frontline Yoga exists and what we can bring. So I'm really ready to do more. I had the privilege to teach one of the first classes in this teacher training and to get to know them very first day. They arrived to Byron Bay and probably they didn't know exactly what was going to happen. Some knowledge of yoga, some knowledge of meditation, but they were raw and ready. And seeing them now doing their first class to the public and their assessments and the way they're teaching, I think they're embodying what yoga is and showing what that yoga is, even if they might still be a little bit apprehensive or trying to keep that tough facade and that tough outside. I know that the seeds are planted there, and I know that they're going to get out of here and become really good yoga teachers and help out so many people with that.
Yes, we're very honored to partnership with Frontline Yoga for the first time, and I think everything went so smooth and amazing. It's a great group of people who really, throughout all these weeks, they've learned, I believe, so much that they can bring so much out there to the public and to others. The process was smooth and we really integrated with everyone very well here, so they've been welcomed with them.
I came to be on the program through the involvement of Frontline sponsoring the program and the Frontline connection with Blind Tiger Yoga. Blind Tiger Yoga, Tristan and the crew down in Victoria work very closely with the Code 9 Foundation, which is the organisation that I'm with, which is represents an informal peer-to-peer support program and network for first responders from police, fire, ambulance and the emergency call taking system.
Honestly, mate, I didn't really know what to expect. There was a bit of pre-course material. I've done a bit of yoga in the past, a little bit. I've done obviously some yoga with Tristan and the yin stuff. Haven't done any with Frontline before, but I just came into it open-minded, mate. Didn't really know what to expect. Just got hit with it when we got here. It was good.
So I have been curious for a long time about yoga, but I hadn't found anyone to teach it to me in a way that was helpful for me. I would go to yoga classes and not really understand what I was doing or come away with injuries. So I've kind of been dabbling with it for a while, but had a feeling that there was something really good about it for me, something that could be really helpful. And so when I met Chris and I heard about the program, and I had a taste of his knowledge of the nervous system, physiology, mental health, I thought that'd be the place for me to find out more.
I had a bit of experience with participating in classes, but not actually from a teacher's perspective. But I think we delved quite deeply into all aspects of yoga, which was quite good. There's so many different types. I was really unaware of how many types there is, and how deep the actual knowledge can be if you really want to get into it. So I think we got exposed to that quite a bit over the last 2 weeks, and yeah, it was a big eye-opener for me, really.
My expectations were of a yoga course, and I thought maybe there might be a major subject at the end on trauma. But I was really surprised, happily surprised, that it has been a thread throughout the entire course. And I was also surprised at the depth of the knowledge that our teachers knew and brought to the course. Anatomy and physiology and all the science-based elements to yoga that I find crucial when learning about something new.
You know, you sort of realise how far this can actually go within the veteran community and even within defence as well. I think it's pretty important for people to learn how to, I guess, help regulate their emotions through different techniques other than medication. Yeah, realise that there is another way and there is other people who are pushing the limits, I guess, and yeah, trying to do something a little bit different.
Well, the reason I know of Frontline in the first place is Chris was my mentor first time I ever did teacher training, and I've always wanted to teach to sort of the fringe community rather than mainstream yogis. I work as a drug and alcohol, frontline drug and alcohol worker, so out in the community rather than in an office. And Chris suggested that this would be appropriate for my line of work and also for colleagues, so to be bringing yoga to the hospital workers as well as clients, because I do already have a practice with clients, so perfect.
So obviously we, as one of the Swiss 8 members, I don't condone or push or recommend any particular things that I wouldn't do myself or haven't tried or implemented. So to come on a course and do yoga first-hand experience, that was something that then we can go and I can feel good and say, yes, I believe this is right, or no, I don't.
It was really good. It was technical, but we also had instructors who come out and did some functional training. So I applied the yoga to functional movement and just getting people moving better, learning how to correct postures and make them applicable to life as well, not just in the yoga room, but applying those movements to movements just like sitting there all day or getting up. And as we get older, we need to explore these things, and we're going to have people with injuries, so knowing how to manage those injuries, alter postures so everyone can do the posture, not just the people that can stick their foot over their head. We make it so we have techniques to use props so everyone can join in at the same level.
We've developed a trauma-aware teacher training for yoga teachers and for healthcare professionals to explain the neurobiology of trauma and how experiences or mechanisms for trauma can affect brain structures and how they can affect the whole body, looking at each individual system, in particular the nervous system and the endocrine system. So we break down what it is that yoga does for people and explain some of the less tangible benefits, by looking at it from an anatomical and physiological perspective.
I think for me, being a psychologist that treats military and first responders, it's really important that I have a toolbox full of a variety of tools to help my clients. And I think for me, both instinctively and the research says that exercise really does improve both anxiety and depression. So there's been a lot of studies, and my own practice, we use exercise as an integrative treatment approach with the psychology component. So I think for me, the catalyst to looking at yoga, I was over in the United States last year, and I visited a couple of organisations, both the Wounded Warriors, and it was clear that yoga was really helpful to a lot of veterans. And so when I came back, I was looking for something to add to my practice that could add value to veterans and first responders.
I've always been pretty interested in yoga from a mobility and mindfulness and meditation perspective. I'd try to avoid calling it yoga, funnily enough, because I think if you can sell it as mobility, if you can sell it as mindset, then you can attract a group of people that probably need it more than the people that actually care about the word yoga, you know?
Well, it's been about 4 years since my physical injuries and my final mental health issues peaked, and in that time I found I was struggling to draw focus, to keep focus, to have direction. And I think the key thing that I was able to take out of the various yoga classes that I was doing was the capacity to be in the now, to use some of the phrasing, to actually be present and not worry about all of the extraneous issues that are going on, things that you can't control, whereas right now I can control my rate of breath, I can control how I feel. I'm able to use the techniques that I've learned from yoga, not just to work with my body, but to help work with my mind, be able to draw that nice balance, that calm that I'd been lacking.
It's been just as busy as I expected, but it's probably involved some discussions that I didn't think I would have here with a bunch of people that I never thought I would meet. So it's been eye-opening on one side, but quite pleasant, I guess, on the other side, to be able to interact with in an environment that, you know, promotes honesty, and background probably isn't nearly as important as what you want to do moving forward. Yeah, so it's been good, really, yeah.
It's been really hard in all the right ways, I'll say. Definitely challenges that I wouldn't have expected, but that's the whole point of challenges. You know, if I could predetermine them, I'd have it sorted before I got here. So really good to see that, because when I consider the demographic I'm teaching to, I need to be ready for that sort of stuff. So I need to know who I am before I can even start to consider holding a space for people who might be vulnerable or might be resistant.
So did I get what I wanted from the program? Yes, definitely. My knowledge of yoga has increased more than I would have thought possible in such a short space of time. It's been a really intensive program, but yeah, I've gone from little practical knowledge of yoga other than kind of getting to classes and what I'd read, to now being able to teach a program and understand what I'm doing and why, and the philosophy of yoga has been really helpful as well.
I think during this course it has shaped my perspective on yoga into a deeper understanding of the Eastern practices and how they are still relevant to us in Western society today. It's also really deepened my knowledge and my skill set, but also deepened my understanding about how important yoga is for mental health and what a quick and short, sharp and shiny impact yoga can make on one's day-to-day health.
To be honest, I had more apprehensions than expectations coming on the course, with a lot of veterans trying a health modality that they're not really used to. I had more apprehensions about how they would take to the information, how they would take to the teachings, etc. So I really had no expectations, but the outcome's been fantastic.
But at the end of the day, they're people, and they're the reason I'm doing this, because they want to have that same opportunities. They want to live a full life. They want to have full health. And if I can bring that, it doesn't really matter what areas of life they come from. But it's interesting. Yes, it is a little bit challenging. There's some strong personalities. And I think the background and the training and what they've experienced, it does shape how they behave or how they perceive their environment. I'm assuming how they perceived me as a yoga teacher, not a very big, scary woman. But that's a good contrast. I think I could bring a softer side or a softer approach to a more aggressive or stronger audience, and it's workout.
And I believe that Frontline Yoga can share what we can offer as well as a center and as a practice, and where it actually takes you. So yes.
Tell your friends about it, tell your colleagues. So if you've had a positive experience with yoga, it's no good keeping that to yourself. Our driving force is recognising the benefits of our yoga practice and how that supports overall health and well-being, and just wanting to share that with other people. So that's the primary motivation for us coming together, and the network of teachers that volunteer with us. They're not volunteers because they've got nothing else to do. They have specialised skills in facilitating yoga for frontline professionals, and they've conducted so many courses, hours and hours of training, so that they can provide the best possible experience. And I've got a lot of respect for all the teachers that work with us. They're highly skilled.